iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome in here, race fans. Tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network, the Best Golfer Creations Pro Series presented by the Upstate Racing League. They have made it to the final race of the season right here at the Hickory Motor Speedway, one of the most historic short tracks in America. Of course, the Pro Series have never been here at Hickory, so there are no notes in the Upstate history books of any laps being turned here. To bring you all the racing action here on Championship Night, my name is Roger Muth, and alongside me it is Kelly Dahl. Kelly, it's time to put a crown on the cake here at the end of this season.
Yeah, it is finally time to decide our champion, and it has come down to a tight race between two drivers. We've got Robbie Keneally, the rookie, coming in and absolutely dominating the season, but Justin Fuller, having a good, strong last tail end of the season, has closed up the gap, and now only 16 points separate the two coming into this final race.
Well, you talked about it, so let's take a look at those Arts Barbershop Championship standings coming into the final race of the season. This is how they look. There you see Robbie Keneally. He has that points championship lead by 16 points over Justin Fuller. Bill Martin is sitting back there 38 points back in third. Guillaume Fortin has had a great season. He's back there in fourth. Then it's Brian Hacker, Joe Schaefer Jr., Justin McDuff, Mike Alexander back in eighth, last season's champion. Ninth goes to Matthew Barkhouse as of right now, and Trey Edson rounds down the top 10 of our Arts Barbershop Championship standings. See how those will look at the end of the night. We'll keep you updated as the night does go on. We also have some breaking news, though, for the Upstate Racing League. Take a look at this, race fans. Hey, guys. To all the drivers, all the sponsors out of the Upstate Racing League, from all of us here at the Turn 3 Racing Network, we want to thank you for another amazing season. 11 seasons on the asphalt side of things, number of them right here with the Turn 3 Racing Network. From all of us with the Turn 3 Racing Network, again, we thank you. And, of course, all the people behind the scenes, Al Smith, AJ Hamill, and Justin McDuff, we thank you for the amazing season, drivers. We have another special, though, thing to shout out there for you guys. Check it out. Turn 3 Racing Network. We'll be riding along with Jordan Henn, the 77H, at the Grandview Speedway in Pennsylvania this season. Make sure to stop by, see him at Grandview, see us also. But we have another very, very special thing. Al Smith and all the guys behind the Upstate Racing League, we thank you for being part of the Turn 3 Racing Network and with the Jordan Henn Racing program. Racers, good luck. Let's get that championship. So amazing things going on behind the scenes with the Turn 3 Racing Network and the Upstate Racing League. I'll get it out here, trying to take a sip of that iced tea here before we get ready to go Green Flag Racing. Season 11 coming to an end. Season 12 will be right back here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We're already excited for that news to come back out, but it is about time. The field has been set for the final time this season. The drivers finishing up their final practice laps. It's time to turn the lights on here at Hickory, and it's time to set your starting lineup. Starting lineup here tonight looks like this. Starting off front row, driving the number 13 QC here tonight. I believe this is the correct running order here. Taking a look at it, that is incorrect. We'll see if our group can get that pulled back up here for all the race fans. Does look like the 88. There it is. See, now the truck's got it. The 88 of Matt Eddy out of the GSM Racing. Number 88 will start P number 1 to his outside. The Carpenters Tax Service. Number 1, the Carpenters Esports entry. This is Jeremy Carpenter. Ellie Musgrave, the youngster out of Washington, driving car number 23, will start in P number 3 here tonight. Starting back into the 4 spot, driving the 2B, the Bartell Builders 2B, that's Brett Bartels. It's the Brian Rogers Motorsports number 12 here tonight of Brian Rogers. He'll start back there in P number 5. Well, how about the driver out of Huntley, Illinois, Brian Hacker, driving the 11 Illinois. He will start in 6th position here tonight. It's going to be the Racing Designs number 13 QC of Guillaume Fortin. He'll start back there in 7th, while J-Mac, Justin McDuff, will roll off from P number 8. E.J. O'Rourke, driving car number 41, will start 9th, and Vernon Woodard, the driver out of Vermont, will start back there in 10th.
Starting in 11th is going to be the 18 of A.J. Hamill. Joe Schaefer Jr. in the 6 machine will be riding on his outside. The first of our championship contenders, Justin Fuller, will be starting all the way back in 13th. And we see the 39 of Bill Martin starting to his outside. Our other championship contender starts right behind his rival. Robbie Keneally will be rolling off in P15, while Mike Alexander rounds out the outside in 16th. Matthew Barkhouse, he'll be starting all the way back in 17th, and the big boss man of Al Smith Jr. back in 18th. Jimmy McIntyre Jr. will be starting all the way back in 19th, and Justin Smith rounding out our top 20.
Starting back into the 21st position here tonight, driving the catch. Number 22 Motorsports. This is the 22 of Mike Holtzclaw back into 22nd here tonight. It's the Mad Racing entry, and this is going to be Matt McLean starting in the 22nd position. Final driver to take to the grid here tonight, driving car number 53. That is Colin Phillip. You will start at the tail of tonight's field. That's your starting lineup here tonight for the Best Colorful Creations Championship 150 here tonight at the Hickory Motor Speedway. So that is how the field will look. Look at them all lined up. 23 of the Best Colorful Creations super late models here tonight for the Upstate Racing League. And man, it has been a heck of a season, race fans, and that Upstate banquet is already coming in the near future here. Best Colorful Creations, of course, is the cake provider for the Upstate Racing League. Beth has her beautiful creations that will bless us at the banquet. So if you're not signed up to get to the banquet, you need to, because not only is the cake going to be provided to the Upstate Racing League's drivers, they will also have best cake pops. And let me tell you, I already put my order in. I'm bringing some back to Pennsylvania. Kelly, I know we can't have you there because of all the restrictions, but I think I'll send you some. I'll be nice.
Just make sure you eat some for me. Just have a few extra. Treat yourself.
Well, you know what? You don't have to twist my arm. You don't have to pull my leg. I will have some of those cake pops for you. But first, we got to get through championship night because we got to crown a champion tonight, and we got to hand him the award at the banquet. It'll be Matt Eddy, Jeremy Carpenter on the front row as we get ready to come into the Hanson Starter Shop Restart Zone here tonight. For the first time, the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series for the Upstate Racing League make their way to Hickory, and we're Green Flag Racing 150 laps.
Matt Eddy getting a good start. Jeremy Carpenter a little bit wobbly on the outside. We see a few drivers washing up the banking, and Matt Eddy is going to control the lead into turn at number 3. Now we see Ellie Musgrave trying to get to the underside of Jeremy Carpenter. She's going to have a good run down that front straightaway, going to be completely even up into turns 1 and 2, and I'd give the advantage to that 23 machine.
Ellie Musgrave not quite done with that pass as she's still working the bottom lane. That's the preferred lane around here. All the drivers, one car sideways. That's the number 1 car, the Carpenters Tax Service, number 1 of Jeremy Carpenter. And boy, he just made some hard contact with the inside wall there. Does look like he is going to take that car to pit road here, but the caution lights will come out here on lap number 3 of the evening. He was battling for that second spot with Ellie Musgrave, and unfortunately looks like he got crossed up. We'll take a look back here and see what happened to the Jeremy Carpenter entry. Watch him right there, the Carpenter's tax service number 1, that Oldsmobile. They found enough parts to make the final race with that Oldsmobile, and he just laid the power down and just misses the back quarter panel there of car number 23 of Ellie Musgrave, and Carpenter to the inside wall there very hard, and you can tell it knocked the toe right out. Right on board with the Dr. Noise Custom Graphics and Diecast onboard camera. You see the eyes in the mirror there, so focused. You see the hands and you hear the throttle. Just lit the tires up. Car pointed to the inside wall, and at that point, he was along for the ride.
Yeah, an unfortunate situation for Jeremy Carpenter. I think that car might be done very early on in this race. That was some very heavy damage to that left front, and I think that left front tire is actually bent off the ground at this point.
So, as we take a couple caution laps here, Matt Eddy has led every lap here tonight. Obviously, we got 3 laps in before the caution flag flew. Ellie Musgrave is sitting there second. She'll now have to restart on the outside of row number 1. Take a look off our Xander sign group onboard camera facing back off the race leader of Matthew Eddy. You see Lightning McQueen there. That's Brian Rogers, and I'm going to question him at the banquet. He signed up to come to the banquet, and I got to question him why he's always got that Lightning McQueen Rusty's paint scheme. It makes me chuckle every time we come out here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's just a fan and just decided that was going to be the car he runs, and makes sense. He doesn't have to really show any affiliation to any one brand with this.
Good-looking car regardless. He'll start to the inside of row number 2 here after we come back from the yellow flag. So back into the Hanson Service Shop green flag zone. Matthew Eddy says, chase me if you can, to the rest of the field as we are back green flag racing here tonight. There you see Ellie Musgrave will fall into line in the second. The battle will be for that 3rd spot. That is the number 2B of Brett Bartels working the outside of Lightning McQueen as one driver spinning to the inside. That's going to be car number 53. Colin Phillip will keep it off the racetrack. We stay green.
Yeah, Colin Phillips spinning all the way down into pit road, into the garage area, so hopefully everyone was able to get out of the way of that race car, but we have to keep focused on the race because we've got Ellie Musgrave closing in on Matt Eddy with a lot of other drivers scrambling for position right behind them. Guillaume Fortin putting some heavy pressure, and we see actually the 41 of EJ O'Rourke actually gets into the left rear quarter panel of Brett Bartels. These guys are all bumping and banging, trying to get their positions.
You got to watch out. There's Brian Hacker, Vernon Woodard, and Justin Fuller has already moved up into the 9th spot. He's got Robbie Keneally. Remember those 2 championship drivers coming into the night. One car going around. I believe that is A.J. Hamill, the driver out of New York, Vermont, and the Arts Barbershop number 18. Drain the Tanks Orca Coolers entry. There you see him. The Arts Barbershop nose is a little tore up on that Ford Mustang, so that will be the 2nd caution flag of the evening coming out here on lap number 11, getting a couple more laps into the books here tonight. Take a look what happened to A.J. Hamill here on this. He was running right ahead of car number 39. That is Bill Martin, and does Martin get... Oh, he got a little help. Martin into the back of A.J. Hamill. A.J. Hamill slams the inside retaining wall.
And Bill Martin puts his hands up, claims that one, and he will move to the back. But one driver that's back out on the racetrack, Colin Phillip, was able to get his car spun back around on pit road and has come back out on the racetrack. He's, I believe, 2 laps down, but he is going to get one of those laps back now under this caution.
Well, it's good to see that he isn't going to give up. He was a part-time driver this season here with the Upstate Racing League, and, well, he'll maybe scrape a little bit of that number 53's paint colors off that Carbon Junction entry as he comes back around 1 lap down like you alluded to. So he'll be put at the back of the field here. It's still going to be Matthew Eddy, Ellie Musgrave, Brian Rogers, Guillaume Fortin. How many times? I'm going to talk about it right now, Kelly, so he has plenty of time to come back through the field. How many times has the G-Man been towards the front of the field here this season with a chance to park that Racing Designs number 13 QC in Victory Lane, and it just has not happened this season. Hopefully we can see it here tonight as he would go to Victory Lane for the first time ever.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. He's come very close many times, just hasn't had it just quite fall his place just yet. So hopefully we can see that 13 QC Porsche get up into the lead and be able to claim one of these races one of these days. And maybe you're right. Maybe it will be tonight.
I can't recall or tell you the last time a Porsche has ever gone to victory lane. Of course, we do know it's just the decals. It's just the nose piece of the 13QC. But either way, the Racing Designs Group put a beautiful-looking 13 together this season for Guillaume as he'll restart back there in row number 2. Lights are out on the iRacing.com safety car, so we'll come back around here. It'll be 16 laps officially completed here tonight in the Best Colorful Creations Championship race here at the Hickory Motor Speedway. Lights off. Pace car's about to come back down pit road. The Hanson starter shop green flag is in the hand. Here we go. Matt Eddy says now. And Ellie Musgrave's going to actually spin the tires back there. It's going to allow Brian Rogers Jr. to get to the inside out of turn 2.
And Guillaume Fortin also cutting down to the bottom. And here comes the 41 getting all sorts of sideways into Brett Bartels. They are going to be able to hang on to the car. Car's scrambling behind them as we continue on green. Now Ellie Musgrave going to lose the position to Brian Rogers Jr. He's going to sneak through on the bottom side. And now here comes Guillaume Fortin. He's also going to go rocketing through and move himself up to 3rd place.
The rookie of Ellie Musgrave will fall back into P number 4. So she goes back to 4th position. A couple drivers still swapping it up, though. That's Vernon Woodard and car number 73 and the 2B of Brett Bartels. Both these drivers competing this season on asphalt and on the dirt side of things in the Bartel Builders Big Block Series. Both drivers having some very strong finishes. Oh, it's one driver into the outside wall. That's the 73 of Vernon Woodard. He put the Sand RC Speedway up there on 2 wheels, brought it back down. Now he's side by side with Hacker into 3.
We'll have to see if that maybe affects his car at all. Looks like he does have a little bit of damage on that right side, which is not surprising after how hard he hit that wall. But he's still able to carry some good speed and some good momentum on the high side. But he's now going to be pressured by one of our championship contenders. There's the 51 of Justin Fuller, and he is being chased by his rival, Robbie Keneally, right behind him. But now here comes the 73 going way up the racetrack to let a few of these guys through.
Yeah, he got into the outside wall that time out of turn 4 once again, did Vernon Woodard. Maybe he's just trying to shorten it up. He wants to have an open wheel on that right-hand side. That's what he's used to racing up at the Devil's Bowl Speedway. And now Vernon Woodard finds himself back there into the 10th position, but he's got Justin McDuff, J-Mac down to the bottom side, and that stays Salty Cerebral Palsy Foundation number 20. He's making his way back to the top 10. He's on the outside looking in at the line. It's going to be Vernon Woodard, but now McDuff has the bottom.
And McDuff gets a little bit loose off the bottom. That's going to allow Vernon Woodard to get a little bit further ahead, but not quite clear. McDuff getting a good charge down into the bottom. But now Vernon Woodard is going to carry enough speed on the high side. He is going to be clear to the bottom, still not going to move down. He's going to get loose off of turn 2, and that's going to allow Justin McDuff once again to get underneath that 73.
Matthew Barkhouse as we ride on board the Best Colorful Creations onboard camera with car number 15 right here. He is just kind of sitting in limbo. What needs to see which lane is going to be the lane that goes. Nothing has changed out front. It's still Matt Eddy, Brian Rogers, and Guillaume Fortin. As a couple drivers having some problems. I believe they're off the racetrack for the time being. We stay green. Now the yellow flag is going to fly here tonight.
Looks like caution is out for the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre Jr. Got spun around in turn number 2, so we'll have to see what happened to that race car and what happened to Jimmy McIntyre, and I believe Colin Phillip also involved.
So a rough start here tonight for Colin Phillip. Let's take a look here at Jimmy McIntyre. There you see car number 81. Looks like some contact. No, there was no contact. Oh, McIntyre just drove it off into one just a little bit deeper than Colin Phillip was. Phillip looked like he was trying to come back down the speedway, but both will make contact. Let's ride on board with the Best Colorful Creations onboard camera with Jimmy McIntyre and see exactly what happened in turn 1. This will be the best view of it, and yeah, just 2 drivers coming together. Looked like the 81 tried to drive it in harder. Phillip just tried to come back down to the bottom.
Yeah, Phillip had just kind of checked up on the high side, trying to just get himself crossed back over to the bottom side. But unfortunately for him, the 81 machine was carrying a ton of speed in, and I don't think he really anticipated that move from the 53, and kind of just unfortunate that 2 cars were just trying to occupy the same place at the same time. But Jimmy McIntyre is going to claim that one, and he will move to the back of the field.
Well, he was going to start there anyway, so good for Jimmy to man up, own up to it. No harm, no foul, really. Both drivers will continue on here tonight. Not really any damage, just a couple scrapes on those 2 racing machines. So right now it'll be Matt Eddy, Brian Rogers, Guillaume Fortin, Ellie Musgrave, E.J. O'Rourke, Brett Bartels, Brian Hacker, Justin Fuller, one of those championship contenders, along with Robbie Keneally. They are running currently 8th and 9th, and Justin McDuff will round down the top 10. 2 drivers off the raceway right now, and it looks like both of them have retired here for the evening. That will be car number 18 of A.J. Hamill. He has pulled it behind the wall, and Jeremy Carpenter. So both those drivers will get credited with a 22nd and a 23rd place finish here tonight on championship night. Disappointing finishes for those drivers, but they'll be back next year. Both drivers, 2 drivers that compete seasonally, yearly with the Upstate Racing League.
Yeah, but one thing I'm actually looking at right now is the current grid for this next restart. Justin Fuller will be starting in 8th on the high side. Just behind him, Robbie Keneally will be in 9th, but he'll be on the bottom side. So this may be a good opportunity for that 1K to get around his rival and try to open up his championship lead.
That's the battle that we're keeping an eye on as the safety car comes down the back straight away. It'll be Eddie and Lightning McQueen on the front row to come back into the Hanson starter shop restart zone here after our 3rd caution flag of the evening. The iRacing.com safety car is off. The green flag is back up. We're racing once again. Lightning McQueen into the outside wall. Here comes Guillaume Fortin. He'll look down to the inside. Can he take the Racing Designs number 13 QC into 2nd? He will, as that's going to open up the door now. Ellie Musgrave lurking back there as they come off turn 4.
Oh, Ellie Musgrave getting a bit of a shot from the 12 machine of Brian Rogers, but Rogers going to go up the racetrack. However, he is going to carry a lot more momentum. That high line is starting to come in, and we are seeing that in the 51 of Justin Fuller. He gained 2 spots on the high side, and he's actually pulling away from Robbie Keneally. So we thought this was going to be advantage Keneally. No, that restart was advantage for Fuller.
Yeah, it looked like the 11 of Brian Hacker back there spun the tires on the restart, stacked up that bottom row, which did not allow Keneally to get a really good start. Right now, the advantage on the timing and scoring may show you that Justin Fuller has it, but Robbie Keneally has cars that are lined up to his outside. That was the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. I think something just happened to the 41 of O'Rourke. He is now off the race pace right in the high side.
Yeah, big problems for that 41 car. Pretty much came to a stop on the high side up against the wall, but he is back rolling again. However, he has dropped all the way back into 19th.
Battle, though, inside the top 10. Robbie Keneally was looking to the inside there on Hacker. Caution lights coming on once again. The 22, the Catch-22 Motorsports, number 22 of Mike Holtzclaw. Looks like he has looped around car number 22 to bring out the 4th caution flag of the evening. Take a look here at our replay. Watch the 22. He was battling with Al Smith Jr. in car number 96. Let's see what happened, though, at a turn number 4. Oh, there's the Best Colorful Creations 88 of McLean getting into the back of the 22, and it's just going to turn Holtzclaw around. Take a look as we ride on board with the Xander Signs onboard camera with Mike Holtzclaw. Watch out of turn 4. Watch the 88 really charge through the center of the corner, and just a slight tap, and around goes the 22.
Some good news for both of those cars, though. It was a light contact between them, and Mike Holtzclaw was able to keep the car off of the wall. So I don't think either one of those cars is going to come away with any sort of damage. So they should be able to just continue on. However, the biggest thing for them is they lost a lot of track position off of that, as they are both going to have to go to the back of the field.
Well, it's still early enough in this one here at Championship Night, presented by Best Colorful Creations for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series, presented by the Upstate Racing League. Another wave around here. How about it? The Attaboy Award here going out. Colin Phillip, the driver of car number 53, that Carbon Junction entry, going to be back on the lead lap officially. So we'll look to see if he can make some passes in that Mustang, or, well, it's a Mustang, so we'll leave it at that.
And now looking at our grid once again, Justin Fuller just cannot get away from Robbie Keneally. However, Keneally does not need to pass Fuller. He just needs to stay within a few positions of him, and he'll take the points. It's Fuller that really has the pressure put on him. He has to get himself as far ahead as possible and hope for Keneally to have some problems. Best case scenario for Fuller, if he finishes first, he has to hope for Keneally to finish 6th or worse.
And right now, they've just kind of been working themselves through the field together. Remember, both of them starting outside the top 10 here tonight. And currently sitting 6th and 8th. So they're coming back here. They should be doubling them up this time as the race leader pulls down to the inside. Matt Eddy will take the inside lane here. Guillaume Fortin to the outside of him. Ryan Rogers Jr. gets back down to the bottom side in 3rd. Ellie Musgrave will restart in 4th. That's how they are lined up for the top 4 spots here as they get ready to come back green.
Matt Eddy going to be in control of the field once again. He has led ever since the start of this race, heading now into the Hanson Starter Shop restart zone, and immediately Matt Eddy getting on the power, and he is going to get way off into the lead going down into turn number 1, but Guillaume Fortin going to slot in right behind him.
Top 3 going single file. Then the battle will be for the 4 spot. Ellie Musgrave to the outside. Brett Bartels working the bottom side of the speedway. Justin Fuller slides that time down in 3 and 4. Musgrave can't quite get down to the bottom yet. Bartels going to drive right into the side. Bartels going to go around to the infield. We'll see if that's going to trigger. It looks like he's actually going to keep it wound up. He saves car number 2B, so Bartels will keep it going. Ellie Musgrave now has to fight off those. Now she's got the 11 Illinois of Hacker and the 51 of Fuller.
Those two drivers going at it, but also at the front of the field, I'm seeing Guillaume Fortin bumping and banging at the rear end of that 88 car. As we see also Fuller getting a little bit out of shape on the high side. We've got a lot of things that we're trying to watch at once, action all over the racetrack.
Where do you look? The battle for the race lead or the battle to get into the top 5? Right now, that 5th place car is that Carbon Junction driver out of Huntley, Illinois, Brian Hacker. One driver to the outside lane, and that highlighter yellow machine, the R&R Kinsman Xander sign group, number 75 of Mike Alexander, and it's been a good year, but not a great year for Mike Alexander. When you come here to the Upstate Racing League, you need to bring the best equipment every week, and Mike's just had a couple of those off weeks where he just has not been able to catch a break, and man, right now he's stuck to the outside. Bill Martin is working the inside lane.
And Bill Martin had to drop all the way to the rear of the field earlier on in this race. He's worked his way back up, though, all the way up into 9th, but just in front of them now, we see the 11 of Brian Hacker. He's going to get to the inside of Ellie Musgrave down into turn number 3. Musgrave going to try to hold the high side, but look at the 51 of Fuller just trying to push that 11 through. He's trying to get himself up towards the front of the field and try to get away from the 1K behind him.
And don't count out 3 wide for Fuller. Yes, he has to worry about the championship, but he's one of those drivers. He's not afraid to put the nose into a spot that may be a little bit riskier. Hacker will take P number 4. Here comes Fuller now down to the inside. Ellie slipped that time out of turn number 4. See if she can get the power down out of turn number 2. Fuller looks like he will nose ahead. Robbie Keneally will be the next one. Now you have 2 of those Racing Designs Rookie of the Years running now 6th and 7th. Keneally to the inside. He has the advantage at the line.
And Musgrave just cannot hold the momentum on the high side. She just can't get a good enough run out of the corners and is just getting freight trained at this point as the bottom line really is hooked up and moving. And there's just no gap for that 23 car to go in.
Where do you find a spot to go to the bottom if you're Ellie Musgrave right now? Here comes Justin McDuff. Vernon Woodard's lined up on the bottom. Then it's going to be Smith, Schaefer, and Alexander. They're all right there. They are coming for Ellie Musgrave, who just can't get to the bottom. We talked about it. The outside looked like it was coming in, but right now for the 23, the setup is just not there to run that outside.
And we were talking about that as well, and Mike Alexander, you were just mentioning, was having a good run, but he also got penned in on that high side as that high side just fell away, and he's also dropped all the way back to the field. He's now down to the 16th. Musgrave now, she's going to find herself a spot, but she just went from battling for the top 5 all the way to 13th place.
That's a long fall through the pylon. As we come back around, it's still going to be Matt Eddy. This time by, it will be 57 laps completed. It's still Matt Eddy, Guillaume Fortin, Brian Rogers, who have all broken away from the 4th place driver. That is Brian Hacker. There you see him. Hacker sitting in 4th with Justin Fuller back there in 5th. Robbie Keneally still in tow. So that championship battle still leaning towards the Keneally side. But how things can flip here, we just saw it on that restart. Things can flip in the blink of an eye. You can be contending for the race lead or outside the top 15.
And it all just it comes down to where you just end up in the field and when the lines kind of start to take shape, because it seems at the start of the race, while everyone's still trying to build themselves up to speed, that outside line can get a good run for the first few laps, but once the momentum's built up, that bottom lane is just where you want to be, and you just have to hope to get a better drive off the corner so you can get underneath that guy you're chasing down.
Talking about chasing down, right on board with our Xander sign group. Look at the Racing Designs Porsche looking to the inside here on Matt Eddy for the race lead. Eddy seems like he can roll through 3 and 4 pretty good, but Guillaume Fortin gets down into turn number 1 a lot better than what Matt Eddy is. Eddy rolls the bottom right there, right on the yellow line. That time he'll get a great drive off turn number 2. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3 they go, and now this time that 88 maybe got a rhythm the last couple of laps. This is one of those tracks you just got to get into a rhythm. You gotta keep hitting the same braking points, lifting points. When you get back into the throttle, you don't want to slip up, and there is a slip by Matt Eddy. Guillaume Fortin right to the back bar.
Yeah, Fortin just looking for his opportunity, looking for an opening for him to get underneath that 88 machine. And another driver that's doing the same thing, a few spots behind them. That's the 51 all over the rear bumper of the 11 of Brian Hacker. Brian Hacker just trying to do what he can to... Oh, actually broke right up to the front of the field. Guillaume Fortin got into Matt Eddy. That's going to slide Matt Eddy up the racetrack. And here comes Brian Rogers Jr. He's going to get to the inside. He's now going to challenge for the race lead.
Lightning McQueen trying to say ka-chow, ka-chow for the race lead. It's still going to go to Matt Eddy. Eddy rolling the top side of the Speedway. Got a great run into turn number 1. He'll come out of turn number 2 as the race leader. Can't quite come down to the bottom side of the Speedway. Still the bumper of car number 12 is there. This is the battle for the race lead on lap number 66. Can Brian Rogers Jr. run around that Eddy Performance Solution number 88 of Matt Eddy? Eddy sideways that time down the back straightaway. He tried to get it corralled up. He did, but now the 12 going to get to the inside. New race leader, Brian Rogers Jr.
Matt Eddy led the first 66 laps of this race, but lap 67 is going to go to Brian Rogers Jr. Eddy, though, not going to give up. He's looking to the outside, seeing if he can maybe get some speed. However, behind them, a lot of drivers checking up, a couple drivers getting into each other, getting sideways. However, everyone able to recover and keep pointing the right direction.
Mike Alexander trying to make some moves towards the back of the field here. Remember, he got delegated all the way on the top shelf to go backwards. He just got around Ellie Musgrave. She slipped and now is falling back into the 15th spot. So she's back there running 15th. Mike Alexander is 14th. There you see Matt McLean into the picture. He's back there running into the 16th position. Battle, though, inside the top 5. Matt Eddy up the Speedway. Here comes G-Man for second.
Yeah, Matt Eddy just a couple laps ago. Cars going around. That looked to be the 73 of Vernon Woodard. He's actually going to get tagged by the 96 as well, and caution will fly once again just before the halfway point.
So the 5th caution flag of the evening here tonight in the Best Colorful Creations Championship night at the Hickory Motor Speedway, as we're slowed here once again, and it is for the 73 and the 96 getting involved. Take a look. Watch the 73, the Sharon's Beef, Turn 3 Racing Network, the Stand RC Speedway entry, the Pillsbury Doughboy, the Bearded Wonder from Wilton, turning around the 73, and Al Smith Jr. nowhere to go. I think we have an onboard camera. There we do, the Best Colorful Creations onboard camera with Al Smith Jr. Watch it from his point of view here as he comes down on the one. You see the contact out in front of him. Joe Schaefer Jr. just barely going to get through. Smith tried to follow Schaefer, but the hole closed up, and Smith making hard contact there at the 73. That's going to crinkle the nose of that Mustang.
Yeah, now we see all of these drivers coming down to pit road, a ton of them coming in to take tires. But one thing that I did notice while we were taking a look at the replay, Robbie Keneally came down the first opportunity he could, but I think he missed his pit box. So he had to come back around another time, and I also saw the first time coming through, Justin Fuller was going to come pit, but as soon as he saw that the 1K had committed, he decided to stay out. I'm expecting him to try to see if he can go maybe another short green flag run, pit then, and maybe have a little bit fresher tires towards the end.
Keneally coming right back down pit road, as right there his pit stall is at the beginning of pit road. So we'll see if he can get in and out of pit road with some fresh tires. He'll have a lot of ground to make up, though, because Justin Fuller will restart it looking like it is in the 4th position, but he is on the outside. He's got some hungry hippos behind him. That's Bill Martin, car number 39. The Dr. Noise entry will start 5th. Mike Alexander's right there. Matt McLean. Brian Hacker, who got stuck on the outside, is actually incorrect. It'll be Hacker who was losing positions. He will come out of pit road, the first driver that did come to pit road in 8th spot. So fresher tires there in 8th.
Cars are doubling up now with the 51 in 4th, though. He has to hope for the Robbie Keneally to stay all the way back behind 12th. So at the moment, the 51 is leading, but going towards the front of the field now. The pace car is down and away. We are going to restart. Matt Eddy, though, going to slip up the tires as we enter the Hanson Starter Shop restart zone. He's going to drop all the way down into 4th. That's going to allow Guillaume Fortin, though. He's going to charge on the outside of Brian Rogers Jr. He's going to challenge for the race lead.
As he challenges for the race lead, Justin Fuller is grinning from ear to ear. Fuller right there, almost into the back of the 13 QC. That time out of turn number 4, but it'll be Brian Rogers, it'll be Guillaume Fortin, and then it will be Justin Fuller. Matt Eddy will hold that 4th position for the time being. Bill Martin back there into 5th. Mike Alexander on the outside trying to get around Matt McLean. So it's 2 by 2 for the 5th spot on back.
And And that 75 machine, he's going to just be even up with the 88. Neither one of them can get any sort of ground on the other, as the 20 now going to get into the back of him. As we see now Justin McDuff putting some intense pressure on the 88 of Matt McLean.
Brian Hacker, remember, he was the first driver that came to pit road. He has not made any headway. He started in 8th, and now he's back to 10th, so that just shows you he's had fresh tires, but he just can't go anywhere because he's stuck to the outside lane. Joe Schaefer Jr. also stuck there. Oh, contact between Holtzclaw and Schaefer. Schaefer going to come up the Speedway. There's Robbie Keneally. He's running into the 13th spot right now. Keneally has fresh tires on the right side of his car. Just buried deep in traffic. Still a long way to go, but you have to work your way through this right now. Justin Fuller is sitting in 3rd. Robbie Keneally is back in 13th. That's 10 spots. The needle has now turned to Justin Fuller.
Yeah, Justin Fuller currently holding on to the championship position. However, Keneally just needs one more position. If he can get around Mike Alexander here, he will be back into the championship contention. But he did take all 4 tires last time. I believe he took the right sides on the first stop and the left sides on his second stop. So he has got four fresh tires, and now he is using them to perfection as he's moved himself up to 10th now.
Well, you just saw him go right around the previous champion there of Mike Alexander. Alexander, one of those class acts. He knows what's on the line for the 1K of Robbie Keneally, so he wanted nothing to do with that. Now, though, the number 75 of Mike Alexander will have to battle with the driver of car number 73. And Vernon Wooder, boy, he has climbed the wall here a handful of times. He just did it back down the back straightaway. But his car has been through the ringer tonight. He is using all 4 fenders of it.
Yeah, and he is trying to get as much speed as he possibly can off the corners. And we see now the 39 of Bill Martin. He's dropping back. He got himself tagged with a few other cars. And I think I saw the 22 of Mike Holtzclaw. He's 3 wide. They're bumping and banging with the 45. The 45 hard into the wall. Caution will come out for Justin Smith.
A tough one for the Pillsbury Doughboy. That'll be the second time that Pillsbury entry has been involved in a wreck here tonight to bring out the 6th caution here on championship night for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series. A good little run there for those drivers. Will be halted here on lap number 88. Take a quick peek here at what happened to, oh, there's that 3 wide. EJ O'Rourke down on the bottom. Holtzclaw and Smith making contact, and then they just could not come apart, and the 45 making the hard left front nose into the inside wall. Right on board here. This will show you right off the top there. You see the contact from the 22 to the 45. EJ O'Rourke with a little bit of a door as he went by, and bam! Right there out of turn 4. Justin Smith just popped open one of those Pillsbury Doughboy little cylinder things, you know, with the biscuits. It goes poof. He popped them open out of 4.
He certainly did, but looking now at the pit stops, pretty much the entire field has now come down into pit road. Only drivers that have not taken tires or at least come down for service are Brian Rogers Jr., Guillaume Fortin, and Mike Alexander. Pretty much everyone else, I would believe, is on fresh tires, including Justin Fuller, who came down to pit road last time. He's going to be down in 12th.
Yeah, he saw how Robbie Keneally was starting to make his way and a couple other drivers that came down to pit road. He is one of those drivers that he really loves to see the choice to come to pit road when you want to take tires and whatnot. He doesn't want to be stuck on the same old tires for 150 laps. He really likes to have that choice of when to come to pit road, and he just did it here at the halfway portion of this race. Just over halfway now. It looks like about 60 laps to go. Currently sitting on the pylon, Brian Rogers Jr. still the race leader. He's got Guillaume Fortin right there, Justin McDuff, Brian Hacker, Joe Schaefer, Robbie Keneally, Vernon Woodard, Mike Alexander, EJ O'Rourke, and Matthew Barkhouse is how they're going to line up here as the official iRacing.com pace car here tonight. We'll turn the lights back off. We'll come back into the Hanson starter shop next time out of turn number 4.
Yeah, and watch Guillaume Fortin and Brian Rogers Jr. They are up in the front of the field, but for how long? Neither one has taken tires, while everyone else behind them is on fresher rubber with much more grip. So as the pace car now going to dive down into the pit road, we come to the Hanson starter shop restart zone. Brian Rogers Jr. is going to fire, and let's see how long the 12 and the 13 can last.
Good start by Rogers down to the bottom. Look at Guillaume Fortin. He's going to hold the outside lane here, see if he can pull even down the back straightaway. He does. Justin McDuff is back there also, so everybody's under a blanket. Oh, it looks like the 13 QC going to lose the nose down in turn 4. Here comes Justin McDuff. Can he now roll the bottom side? Remember, he's got fresher tires than the 13 of 4.
Yeah, and McDuff using those tires to his advantage. Now he's going to get a bit of a run on Brian Rogers Jr. Not going to quite have the space to make it to the inside, but caution flag will fly once again, and I believe it is Justin Smith and Al Smith involved this time. Actually, it looks to only be Al Smith involved.
Well, I did see the 45 rolling away. Maybe he tried to pass off one of those biscuits to Al Smith as the Smith Racing Inc. crew down there getting very hungry. Take a look at the boss man. What happened? There you see Al Smith. He goes to the inside of Bartels. They were 3 wide momentarily. Oh, looks like the 39 of Bill Martin got into the number 96. And around goes Al Smith. He made a little contact there. I believe that was Ellie Musgrave in the 23.
Yeah, Ellie Musgrave is going to get a little bit of that, as well as Matt McLean, I think, as well, got into the back of Musgrave as they stacked up on the bottom. So few cars with damage, but at a track like this, I believe these guys should be still okay.
Yeah, aerodynamics is not something here at Hickory that is going to play a big factor at all. The only thing that you're going to have to worry about is both those drivers made nose-to-nose contact, and we hope that it doesn't start to overheat the machine. Of course, it is a little cooler here tonight at Hickory. To hope the drivers' tires stick and put on a good show here for everybody that is tuning in. Race fans, we got to thank you here tonight, though, for tuning in on the Turn 3 Racing Network to catch the Best Colorful Creations Championship night here for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series presented by the Upstate Racing League. Season 11 champion is going to be crowned here tonight. The 2 drivers that came in with a chance to win was Robbie Keneally. There you see the driver out of California driving the 1K entry, and the driver out of New York, Justin Fuller. It's a good old East Coast versus West Coast battle.
Yeah, towards the front of the field, we saw Guillaume Fortin. He came down pit road. However, Brian Rogers Jr., he still believes in these tires. He's going to try to stick it out, but at this point, he's put nearly 100 laps on those things while everyone else put tires on, and we saw it. They just weren't quite getting the grip. McDuff was closing in on him, but I think Rogers just does not want to give up the track position.
Well, he's thinking possibly towards the end of this one, it may be yellow to the end, as this is our 7th caution flag of the evening as the pace car lights will go off. So we're coming back this time into the Hanson Starter Shop restart zone. It'll be Rogers down on the bottom, McDuff to the outside. Then it'll be Joe Schaefer Jr. in the Epic Media number 6 back there in P number 3 with Brian Hacker into the 4 spot. iRacing.com safety car is off, and Lightning McQueen says, let's go.
Brian Rogers Jr. getting a good start, but here comes Joe Schaefer Jr. He got right underneath Justin McDuff and forced McDuff way up the racetrack. Now Justin McDuff trying to hang on that outside. Joe Schaefer Jr., though, will take over 2nd place.
It'll be Brian Rogers Jr., though, leading that lap. Joe Schaefer Jr. that time down into turn number 1. All sorts of out of shape. Where did Vernon Woodard come from? Here he is. Remember, he's been knocking down the outside wall tonight. He's been turned around, and now he's inside the top 3 at the line here on lap 103. It's Rogers, it's Schaefer, it's Woodard, McDuff, then Barkel side by side.
And just behind them, Justin Fuller, who came down pit road later than a few of these other guys. He's been able to use those fresher tires to his advantage. He's gotten around Robbie Keneally. He's still trying to make his way through the field, though, but with this big stack up on the bottom, it's not going to work out in his favor. But however, he still will get around that 20 of Justin McDuff.
So Fuller into 5th. Now Keneally back into the 7th spot. Brian Hacker is running in 8th. Matt Eddy's back there. Mike Alexander, Bill Martin just outside the top 10, along with Ellie Musgrave. Drivers battling everywhere, even Guillaume Fortin trying to move up through the field. He's back here behind the 88 of Matt McLean. He's running in 15th after his pit stop here.
Battle for 3rd place is the 73 of Vernon Woodard went up the racetrack. He will be saved, though, as we get another caution flag, and looks to be Guillaume Fortin might be involved.
That's not what the 13 QC wanted to see here as the 8th caution flag comes out, and it is the 13 QC who is involved. Matt McLean also involved in this. Take a look. He was trying to make the move, the pass for that 17th spot. Guillaume drove it in. The 88 of McLean was right there. They both made the contact, both down into the grass, but both rolled away.
Yeah, not too much damage I'm seeing to the front of that 13 QC, and taking a quick look at the 88. He does have some damage, but I think that may have been from earlier on in the race, so I think both of these guys are going to be fairly okay. So a little bit of no harm, no foul, except then a little bit of track position. Both of them are going to drop back, and Guillaume Fortin is going to claim the penalty, so he'll be all the way in the back of the field.
It's going to be a rough one. Couple drivers that are out of tonight's race here on championship night. It'll be E.J. O'Rourke, Colin Phillip, A.J. Hamill, Jeremy Carpenter, and the lucky dog, you just saw him come screaming by the screen. That's the Bartell Builders 2B, the driver out of Spirit Lake. So Brett will join the back of the field back onto, I believe, what is the lead lap. So looks like currently it'll be, call it 18 cars on the lead lap. Mike Alexander is on pit road. He is currently sitting the first car 1 lap down.
And taking a look at our championship contenders, we're trying to keep an eye on them all night. Justin Fuller currently sitting in 5th place. Robbie Keneally going to be right behind him on this next restart in 7th. But with the way they currently are with their points, Fuller has to hope for either to gain a few more spots or for the Keneally to lose a few more, because sitting in 5th, he has to hope for Keneally to finish in 13th or worse for him to be able to claim the championship tonight.
Well, good news for both drivers are, well, they're going to start on the inside row, it does look like. Here we come back racing, this time by the iRacing.com safety car lights should come off, and we should double them back up to get going back here tonight. It'll be 112 laps officially completed when we come back around here. I do believe that will be. So it'll be Brian Rogers, Joe Schaefer, Vernon Woodard, Matthew Barkhouse, your top 2 rows here, top 4 drivers here tonight in the final race of the season, and season number 11. Get a win here and get yourself into the record book, or have to wait a full year to come back racing. Into the Hanson starter shop we go, and Brian Rogers Jr. going to hang it out. That's going to allow Joe Schaefer Jr. to get a great run to turn 1.
Yeah, and Rogers still on the same tires he started with. Those things are just hanging on by a thread as we see the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. getting a bit of a better run on the outside. However, Rogers still finding that grip on the bottom just enough to keep him in line with Joe Schaefer Jr. However, now Schaefer is going to get an advantage coming off of turn number 2. He's going to be pretty much a half car length ahead. Still not quite clear, though, for the 6 car.
Schaefer did lead last lap. He'll lead this lap also. Now he will clear the number 12 down into turn number 1. So it'll be Joe Schaefer Jr., Brian Rogers Jr., Vernon Woodard now having to battle, as here comes car number 15. Matthew Barkhouse is down to the bottom, and Justin Fuller is right there sideways for the 73 of Vernon Woodard. He's hanging on to it for all she's got here tonight, captain, and now he'll have to check up. Now it'll be the 51 of Fuller checking up there. Fuller's got to be careful, doesn't want to run into the side of the 73 here and bring the caution flag out. Vernon Woodard really sideways off of turn 4 now for the 2nd lap in a row.
Speaking of sideways, the 20 of Justin McDuff was all sorts of sideways in the grass through turns 1 and 2. However, we are going to stay green as cars go 3 wide. A few more get into each other. The 81 machine of Jimmy McIntyre, he's all sorts of sideways, and the 45 getting himself involved in a 3 wide once again. But now here comes Guillaume Fortin cutting through that pack. He's starting to move himself back up the field.
Yeah, he's got to go because he still has a chance at having a good solid points night here and a good finish in the overall points championship, as Vernon Woodard still continuing to drop positions here tonight. Remember, he was inside the top 3. Now he's back to running 8th, and it could be as far back as 10th possibly here by the time we're all done and said with this battle. Here comes the 51. Justin Fuller now going to get to the inside here on the number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. He's got Robbie Keneally right there. Keneally now, as the 15 goes up the track. Here comes the 1K. Robbie Keneally now into 4th.
And the 73 of Vernon Woodard goes around off of turn number 4. That's going to bring out the caution once again.
That'll be the 9th caution flag of the evening here on lap number 120 out of the 150 scheduled tonight on championship night. Take a look what happened to the driver out of the Devil's Bowl Speedway in Vermont. There you see the 11 Illinois. Brian Hacker was right there. Was there a stack up on the bottom? Maybe a little bit. And that's going to turn the 73 of Vernon Woodard around. Let's see. Let's ride on board here with the Xander sign group. Onboard camera card number 73. There you see Hacker. He was lurking to the bottom already, and just seemed like Hacker got back into the throttle before Vernon Woodard, and around goes car 73.
Yeah, he had a bit of a better run off the corner, but still didn't quite have himself in the position, and unfortunately just caught the left rear corner of that car and sent him spinning around. But this will stack up our field once again, and it's going to probably shake things up with this restart. We're going to see Joe Schaefer Jr. on the inside, Brian Rogers Jr. on the outside, still has not come down to pit road. But then just behind them, Justin Fuller will be on the inside line, that preferred line, and then Robbie Keneally going to be stuck on the high side behind the car with worn tires. So he may have a bit of a struggle here. He's going to have to try to find that bottom side because I'm sure he's going to be faster than the 12 machine.
If you're Keneally right now, are you talking to any drivers out there trying to get your spotter to communicate with them to please let me down to the bottom because Rogers is on the older tires? Is there anything you can do in this situation if you're Robbie Keneally?
I mean, he can plead his case, but I'm sure a lot of these guys are going to be trying to race their own races. They aren't going to really just roll over for the 1K, so he's going to have to try to just hope for a gap and try to find that gap. He does have those points to play with. He doesn't have to be right on the bumper of that 51. If the 51 stays in this position, he only has to finish in 10th, and even if he gets around Brian Rogers, that only moves it up to 8. So really, there isn't too much pressure on Keneally to get to the bottom. He just has to make sure he doesn't really slide out of the top 10.
Well, let's see what the iRacing.com safety car does. Do the lights go out? They do, so we're getting ready. After our 9th caution flag of the evening here, it'll be a shootout to the end. Don't blink, race fans, because this one's going to go quick at the end. We've seen some very exciting finishes here over the last couple of weeks in the Upstate Racing League, as it'll be Joe Schaefer Jr., Brian Rogers Jr., Justin Fuller, Robbie Keneally back into the Hanson Starter Shop restart zone.
Pace car down and away. Hanson Starter Shop green flag is in the air, and look at Joe Schaefer Jr. He's going to get a fantastic launch, and so is the 51 of Justin Fuller. He dives down to the inside, and just as we said, Robbie Keneally, he's now pinned in on that high side.
Nowhere for the 1K of Robbie Keneally to go as Fuller now takes over the second spot. Here comes the number 15. Matthew Barkhouse will now go past the 1K of Keneally. It'll be Bill Martin's turn there in car number 39 now. Can he get around the 1K as they are just stuck to the outside? Matt Eddy going to slide out of turn 4. There was a possibility, a chance for the 1K of Keneally to get down to the bottom, but he did not take it. Now that door is going to open up. Keneally going to go down and drop into P6.
And P6, he still is safe right now. He would have to hope for Justin Fuller to just not win this race. And now the 12 of Brian Rogers Jr., he is actually going to be still on that high side. This is going to allow Schaefer or Keneally to get himself into a good spot. And this is a fantastic position for him. In top 5, he can win this championship no matter where Joe Schaefer finishes. Or sorry, Justin Fuller finishes.
Yeah, Justin Fuller sitting there in second. Schaefer is the race leader as they run. One car having some problems here. We'll see if they're able to keep it going. That is the 2B of Bartels. There's Matt Eddy, though, now reinserting himself into 6th. Brian Rogers Jr., though, for those older tires and just 20 laps to go. These drivers all have new tires, or for at least fresher tires than the 12 machine. He's still holding his own on the outside. That's Brian Hacker down on the bottom side, sideways for the 12 of Rogers. He was just into the door of Brian Hacker. Now here comes Ellie Musgrave. Musgrave trying to work the bottom side as though she'll get into the back of 12. And that'll move Brian Rogers Jr. up. Look at Ellie Musgrave, the rookie, using the old chrome horn to make a pass.
Yeah, and the 12 just slid down, and with those old tires, he was way off the pace compared to the rest of the field, and I don't think Musgrave was really left with much option. She was pretty slowed up there and tried to keep off that 12 machine, but thankfully the 12 of Brian Rogers Jr. able to hang on to the race car and keep himself pointed in the right direction.
It's still Joe Schaefer Jr. out front here tonight. That's the battle for the race lead. It's Schaefer as he'll come across. He'll see 16 laps to go. Justin Fuller is hot to trot on the heels. Look at Joe Schaefer. He is trying to use every inch of the racing surface down there in turns 1 and 2. He was below the yellow line.
And Joe Schaefer Jr. just trying to end this season on the high note. Play a little bit of spoiler as well as he continues to hold off Justin Fuller. Fuller needs to get himself around Schaefer Jr. and just hope for Keneally to lose one more position, because at this point it is going to be Keneally's championship, and as the time ticks down, it's really starting to close up on Fuller's options.
Fuller a little loose that time out of turn number 2 as he follows the number 6 of Schaefer. Then it's Matthew Barkhouse, Bill Martin, Robbie Keneally rounding down the top 5. When you look at the top 5 drivers, they have all picked up multiple spots. Multiple meaning 10-plus spots. Joe Schaefer Jr. has 11 spots net gained here tonight with Justin Fuller in tow. He's also got 11. How about Barkhouse, though? He's picked up 14 spots to have himself coming close to 10 to go, up 14 spots running 3rd, but he's got Bill Martin all over the back of him.
And now lap traffic starting to come into play here as we see the 2B of Brett Bartels move out of the way and try to let our leaders through, as now Joe Schaefer Jr. going to get clear, and so is Justin Fuller. And The rest of the field still trying to make their way through, and look at the 11 of Brian Hacker. He was looking to the underneath the 88 of Matt Eddy going through turns 1 and 2. He seems to have the pace. He's going to get a good run off of turn 4, but just not quite going to have the space to make anything of it.
Double high five at the flag stand, just 10 laps in the season and a championship on the line. Justin Fuller is slipping now. He has fallen back off the back bumper of car number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. Calling about 5, maybe 6, almost 7 car lengths that time down the back straightaway.
He's got to close it up. He's got to hope for something because he can't give up just yet. Yes, Keneally is in a good position, but he still has a couple of cars right behind him that if those cars lose ground or gain ground on Keneally, it could push him down below 6. So if he can get ahead of Joe Schaefer Jr., he still has a chance at this championship.
7 to go. It's Schaefer, it's Fuller, it's Barkhouse, Martin, Keneally. Keneally is on the back bumper there, car number 39. He just has to find a way around him. He doesn't need that spot right now, but every point will matter at the end of this one. Matt Eddy's still back there in 6th. Brian Hacker's still in 7th. It'll be the open fist when that Epic Media number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. comes back around here. He's already waving it. 5 fingers in the air, waving at him 5 more times around.
5 laps to go for Joe Schaefer Jr. as he still hangs onto this lead, opening up that gap over half a second, pretty much now 6/10 over Justin Fuller. And Fuller's got fresher tires than Schaefer, but Schaefer has just got some unreal pace to close out this race.
Fuller was, though, trying to push really hard to at least take that race lead when we went back racing, so he could have heated up those tires on car number 51. It'll be 3 to go now, this time by at the line. Just 3 more laps to go of racing.
Things are starting to bunch up behind Matthew Barkhouse. Barkhouse still trying to hang on to that last podium spot in 3rd place. Bill Martin all over him, and then the field just packs up behind him with Robbie Keneally, Matt Eddy, and Brian Hacker. All 4 of those drivers were bumping and banging coming off of turn 4 last time, and now here comes Bill Martin to the underside of the 15.
Martin going to try down the back straightaway into turn number 3 to pick up that podium spot, but it'll be 1 lap to go. Presented by Carpenters Tax Service. It's the final trip around the Speedway of the season. Battle for 3rd and the battle for the win. There is the Epic Media number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. He'll come out of turn 4. He'll pick up a win here in the season finale. It'll be Schaefer, Fuller, Martin, and Keneally will pick up P number 4 as Matthew Barkhouse goes spinning across the line.
And with P number 4, Robbie Keneally unofficially is your champion. He has been able to secure the points lead with that position. Justin Fuller with a 2nd place, not going to be quite enough. So congratulations to Robbie Keneally. This is still pending review, but at the time, the 1K is your champion.
Unofficial results also scrolling on the left-hand side of your screen. Find where your favorite driver is going to finish here tonight at Hickory in the season finale for the Best Colorful Creations Championship night here for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series, presented by the Upstate Racing League. Race fans, all results are unofficial. We're waiting for the tally here tonight. We can tell you that Joe Schaefer Jr. is your winner. We can also tell you that Justin Fuller was 2nd with Bill Martin in 3rd. That is unofficial 3rd for Bill Martin. Robbie Keneally is 4th. Matthew Barkhouse spinning across the line in 5th. We'll be right back here to Hickory with your championship standings and tell you who has officially clinched the Season 11 championship here with the Upstate Racing League.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, welcome back here, race fans, to Hickory tonight for the championship race presented by Beth's Colorful Creations here tonight for season number 11 in the Upstate Racing League. A championship was on the line, and the winner of the... you thought I was going to give it to you right off the top. We got some interviews before we can crown tonight's champion in season number 11. And I believe, Kelly Dahl, you are standing in victory lane here tonight with the driver of car number 6, as he'll pick up the big win on championship night.
Yeah, caught up with the driver of the number 6 machine, Joe Schaefer Jr. And Joe, we saw a lot of these drivers that finished up towards the front had to pass cars, but it didn't seem very easy. I mean, how difficult was it here to pass at Hickory?
It was brutal, especially when you're starting on the high side every restart. I told Bill, like right towards the end of the race, after I passed for the lead, I said, I feel like a real a-hole because I did nothing but complain and, get mad all night. Then all of a sudden, pit strategy worked out, and I was in the lead. I knew pitting early was going to be beneficial because of how hard it was to pass, and then at the end, given the point situation, I figured nobody would be trying to attack me too hard, so it seemed like a safe play, and I had to go for it.
Yeah, and a bit of a slower year for you compared to some previous years, but still 2 wins on the year, and especially being the first one here to win at Hickory. I mean, does it mean a lot to kind of go down as the first winner here?
Well, yes and no. It's cool to win the first one, but the problem I had this year was opposite of what I've had in years past, where I've ran strong at the beginning and couldn't finish. And then this year, I think I won 2 of the last 3 this year, so I just got to put together a full season, and one of these years I'll get it.
Well, hopefully next year is your year. But before we let you go, who would you like to thank for this win, and how would you who helps you get it done?
Well, first and foremost, I'll thank Bill, Dr. Noise Custom Diecast and Design. We talked about it. I haven't had very good luck in this paint job, and it's probably one of my top 3 favorites I've ever had. So nice to finish on a strong note with it. And also Drew Krybeck with Epic Media, and everybody at Upstate for running the show, and you guys for running the broadcast.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us, and hopefully we do hear from you again next year, and have yourself a good off season, and hopefully we will see you again in the fall.
Thanks, guys. You too.
That was Joe Schaefer Jr., driver of the number 6 Epic Media Machine, and your winner here tonight at the Beth's Colorful Creations Championship 150. And now I believe Roger Muth is caught up with our second place driver.
Well, second place is going through tech inspection right now, so we're just jump the line, head on over to Bill Martin here. Bill, a great run with car number 39. It was definitely what you would consider an up and down night. This car is not looking like it's Well, I guess if we have a crash version that you could make a good one. But walk us through your evening here tonight.
My evening? It was a yo-yo. Because, it's hard to pass, and I ended up catching AJ and sending him into the infield, so I had to go from the middle of the back of the field to the back of the back of the field. And then, got through some cars, and then it basically happened all over again. So it was a yo-yo race. But it finished strong. I didn't think it would finish that strong. I kind of figured when I saw everybody go to pit. Okay, so I joined a different league on Tuesday, and that league doesn't have pit stops. And in that 2-day span, despite the fact this is our 12th race, I forgot that we can take tires. So everyone went in the pits, and I'm like, what are they doing? Oh, crap, they can take tires. So I had to wait and just kind of hope that the next yellow would fall decent, and it did, and it worked out. But yeah, yo-yo race. That's the best I can call it.
Yo-yo race. I don't think I've heard that term used in, a very long time, if ever. So, I mean, that's an interesting way to put it. But talk about the fresh tires. How much did they mean here tonight?
So, I don't remember how many laps it was that Joe and Keneally, Hacker and all of them, McDuff, they all pitted for tires. It was probably 15 laps maybe, and that's about it. And I mean, you could see the difference even in just that little span. Now, I mean, you got to take into account that the heat cycles will play a role in that too. But I mean, for the most part, the person who got the tires the latest was at a huge advantage. I mean, even if it was only 10, 15 laps different, for me to be able to get back up there as I did. So, special thanks to them Max tires that I hear so much about in Days of Thunder.
Well, the tires work out for you, Bill. Another great season here, though, with the Upstate Racing League. You won't walk away with a championship, but you're going to be slotted towards the top of the boards, a third place this season in the championship. How does it feel to walk away third with the strong competition?
I got third last year, and I heard your broadcast announcing, buddy, there, hoping that Joe wins the championship next year. No! Joe can suck it. I want to win the championship. That's not true, actually, because as I've said in the past, I'd have to make my own car, and that's just going to pump my ego up, and then nobody will be able to stand being around me. And then Joe will leave me for some other team, and then Matt Eddy will leave me for some other team, which is fine because I'll be a big-headed douchebag. You're right. Joe should win the championship next year. Never mind.
I don't even know how to follow that up other than asking you who made this all possible this season for you.
Well, you guys did by making great broadcasts. Seriously, I tend to be spoiled by your broadcasts when I watch them back, especially you, Mr. Real Race Announcer and also Digital Race Announcer. And Al, he does a great job in this league. Joe and I don't like some of the rules that he puts in place, but it sure makes it fun. They're not bad rules. We just don't like them because they don't benefit us, and that's how race car drivers work. Al does a great job. Thanks to my teammates, Matt Eddy and Joe Schaefer, for racing with me this year. And Native American Rights Fund. Awareness.
And there you hear it. Bill Martin, one of the most interesting people in the Upstate Racing League. Fans will finish third here tonight, and he will finish third in the championship standings. Congratulations to Bill Martin and his whole crew for the solid year. Now it comes down to the two drivers in the championship, and we can officially tell you who will finish first in the overall championship standings and who will finish second. We'll start with the second place finisher here tonight. He finishes second tonight here at Hickory, and he will finish second in the overall championship standings. Kelly, I believe you have the driver out of New York, driving car number 51 here tonight, of Justin Fuller.
Yeah, caught up now with Justin Fuller, and Justin coming up still just a bit short here tonight, but I mean, you still do come home with at least one championship on the season and really a good amount of points to carry you on into next season.
Yeah, you would think after winning the first three of these championships, you'd figure out how to get another one, but keep evading me, so regardless, I'm having a lot of fun, so it doesn't really matter. That's what this is all about, and yeah, you know, it is what it is, I guess, you know.
And coming into this race, I mean, watching that first pit stop, it almost seemed like you maybe had a bit of a strategy. It seemed like you were watching for maybe what Robbie Keneally was doing. Was that the case?
Well, I mean, I knew if we did the same thing, he's just, you know, at that point in time, I think he was just following me. That's all he really had to do. He didn't have to race me or pass me. He just needed to keep me in his sights, and a smart play call on his part. And I don't know if he just decided he wanted to get off strategy. I kind of just wanted to test the water, see if I think it might have been Hacker in front of me to pit, and he pitted, so I stayed out, and then I pitted the next time around. And I kind of learned that trick though at Lanier, I think earlier this season. Those guys took 2 tires, so I took 2 tires again tonight, and it worked out. I was able to drive back to the field pretty quick.
And coming into this last race, I mean, it was also the first time this league has come into Hickory Motor Speedway. And what kind of challenge does that bring to coming into a racetrack for really the very first time with this group of guys?
I mean, that was my very first race on that track. I mean, I'm sure it was a lot of guys' first race on that track as well. So I think a lot of, all the years of experience in sim racing that I have certainly plays in a factor, and, same with Joe and all these other guys that finished up front. So, I was really looking forward to it. It's a very unique track, a very unique line, and I like I said last week, I consider it a lot like Five Flags, even though it's smaller. So, and I'm really good at Five Flags, so I was really looking forward tonight. I really thought I had a shot to win it there, but Joe races me clean all the time, and there was just no way I was going to move him for it. So.
Well, still with this season, you come out of it with 2 wins, a large number of top 5s and top 10s in nearly every single race that we ran this season. And are we going to see you back again in 2022 for 2023?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be back as long as they'll have me.
All right, well, sounds good, Justin Fuller. Hopefully next year you will be able to come in and get things done. But before we let you go, who helps you get things done here tonight?
I got to send a thank you to Al and all the admins at Upstate Racing League, and congratulations to all of them for another great year of racing, with the late models and the dirt modifieds. So that was a lot of fun. Thank you, Beth's Colorful Creations, for sponsoring the series. Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. I'll go back and watch us tomorrow when I'm at work. Thank Trey Edson and all my teammates at Aftermath Motorsports. Trey for keeping me looking good on the track. Personal Comfort, better price. Green Bull Drone, Merrill Acres, all those guys that help out in the behind the scenes. Congrats to Robbie on the championship, of course. So it was a good time.
You can tell how many times he's been here with how fast he can rattle off all of those names. But Justin, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us. Hopefully we will hear from you again next year.
Thanks, Kelly. Have a good one.
That is Justin Fuller, our second place finisher here tonight. And now I believe we're going to be throwing it over to Roger Muth, who is caught up with our champion.
I have caught up with the champion here. We can officially announce that the driver of the 1K out of California here tonight is going to be crowned our Best Colorful Creations Pro Series champion here with the Upstate Racing League in season number 11. Robbie, congratulations on not only picking up the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series championship, you have also clinched the Racing Designs Rookie of the Year championships. And that is 2 championships for you in your first season with the Upstate Racing League. Congratulations on your season.
Woo! I wish I had some confetti and a little apple cider to go around here. Man, what a crazy season. I feel like, you're always going to have, some bad races throughout a season. I don't believe in, you having straight races and just good races throughout the whole year. And, I feel like a lot of these guys had their bad races towards the start of the season, where I was doing really good, and these last 2 races before this one were very bad. 2 straight DNFs, and it definitely got me really worried here. But elaborating on what Fuller was saying, I just kind of had to follow him through the pack, and like he was saying, I didn't want to do the exact same thing as him if I wanted a shot to win the race. And I missed my box the first time, not seeing where it was. So I went around and I took 2 tires, and then I took 2 again immediately. And, we just kind of rode, and, it all played out perfectly. And I'm just really happy to be here.
How worried were you coming into championship night with the unknowns? The unknown how this car would react here for the first time we've ever come here. We have no notes on this car, this tire, with this track.
No, yeah, for sure. Like Fuller was saying, this is my second ever race there. On a lot of guys' first. I had 1 race, so I guess I could, a little more than everyone else, but I was still kind of in the same thing. And I feel like I wasn't worried. Just kind of coming into the race as another one, trying to go for the win. I feel like if you think of it that way, without all the points going in your head, it'll all play out right.
It played out right for you here tonight. You were able to stay out of trouble, work your way back through. You got to the top 5 here, and then it kind of seemed like Fuller was up there battling Schaefer for the win. Did you know where the point standings were when you were right there, on that bubble of 5th, 6th, as Fuller was trying to go for the win?
The only thing I knew really is that, I had a 16-point lead, and I felt like if, like he said, if I could just keep him in his sights, that I was good enough to come out with a win.
Well, you were able to hold on to it here. We know you have a lot of racing planned in the real world side of things this year. What is it? What you got in the back pocket going forward for the spring and summer months?
Yeah, for sure. We got about, a little less than a month here to start out our first race. It's going to be running for a real-life championship at Madera Speedway and the junior late models, and hopefully hit up a few pro late models at, like, the Bull Ring, maybe Kern County, and a few other places.
Well, congratulations, Robbie. We look forward to following you during the off-season of the Upstate Racing League on your real-life adventures through the racing paths out there in California. So congratulations, but we got to roll this red carpet out once again for you. The microphone is yours, my friend, who makes this all possible for you to race here on iRacing and on the real side of things.
As always, I really want to thank you guys, always putting on a good broadcast. I want to thank Al, always putting on, some good races for our league. And I just got to thank Wiley X Sunglasses, Reaper Speed Lab, and Champion.
Well, there you hear it from the driver out of California. The Reaper Speed Lab entry this season will pick up 4 wins, 7 top 5s, and 10 top 10s en route to him picking up the season number 11 championship here with the Upstate Racing League. He will also be one of those rookies that go and win a championship in their first season in the regular point standings and also take the Rookie of the Year top spot. Congratulations once again to Robbie Keneally, as he will walk away with all the hardware here as he gets ready to go racing in the real side of things. So a great season for Robbie Keneally and a great season, Kelly, for all these drivers. The racing this season with the Upstate Racing League has probably been the closest we have ever seen it, and it happens right here on the 11th season.
Yeah, you're definitely right. We saw some of the best racing we have ever seen with the Upstate Racing League, and of the 12 races that we had, I believe it was 5 different winners between them all, and Robbie Keneally really covered the rest of those races pretty much by himself. There were a few other multi-time winners, but we had wasn't really just what dominated all by one season. I mean, Robbie Keneally did have a grip of the championship, but we saw it come all the way down to the wire, and it was just so close for Justin Fuller. So just a finish like this really sets up my excitement for next year already, even though we've got a number of months before the next race season starts.
So what do you say we just line them up and run it back?
I would certainly enjoy that. Let's start it right up again next week at Iowa.
Well, we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer. The schedule is being made for the next season for the Upstate Racing League for season number 12. We can announce to all the race fans that are tuning in, that are still with us here tonight, that, well, the Upstate Racing League for season 12 will be right back here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We can't wait till we can get that going. Kelly, it's been a great year. You put us over there on the iRacing.com Facebook page, Twitter. I believe it was all over the place. We got to thank you for that. We got to thank you for your continued support here with the Upstate Racing League and us here with the Turn 3 Racing Network. We can't wait to have you back in the booth. But, man, that's going to about do it. But we got them before we sign off the air. Once again, thank all the race fans for this great season, for tuning in here to the Turn 3 Racing Network and continuing to watch these races for the Upstate Racing League. We also got to thank Racing Designs, the Rookie of the Year sponsor this season. Race fans, you need a paint job on iRacing or a logo designed, you need to head on over to the Racing Designs. We also got to thank Best Colorful Creations for stepping up this season, coming on board as the title sponsor of the Upstate Racing Leagues here on the pro side, or pro late model side of things. Best Colorful Creations, of course, is the custom cake provider for the Upstate Racing League. You can see their products over on Facebook.com at Best Colorful Creations, or make sure you're on your way to the Upstate Racing Banquet coming up in April, and you can get a taste of those cake pops that Best make. We also got to thank a couple of our other sponsors, along with Carpenters Tax Service, Hanson Starter Shop, along with the Coach's Corner, Schoony's Country Market, Arts Barber Shop, and Doctor's Noise Custom Paint and Diecast, the Xander Sign Group, R&R Kinsman Auto Salvage. We thank them for their continued support, along with Brian Rogers Motorsports. But for everybody with the Upstate Racing League, everybody with Beth's Colorful Creations, that's Kelly Dahl. I'm Roger Muth. We hope you enjoyed this season with us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, and until we see you next time, everybody stay safe, and we'll see you in Turn 3. Hey guys, to all the drivers, all the sponsors out of the Upstate Racing League, from all of us here at the Turn 3 Racing Network, we want to thank you for another amazing season. 11 seasons on the asphalt side of things, number of them right here with the Turn 3 Racing Network. From all of us with the Turn 3 Racing Network, again, we thank you. And of course, all the people behind the scenes, Al Smith, AJ Hamill, and Justin McDuff, we thank you for the amazing season, drivers. We have another special, though, thing to shout out there for you guys. Check it out. Turn 3 Racing Network. We'll be riding along with Jordan Henn, the 77H, at the Grandview Speedway in Pennsylvania this season. Make sure to stop by, see him at Grandview, see us also. But we have another very, very special thing. Al Smith and all the guys behind the Upstate Racing League, we thank you for being part of the Turn 3 Racing Network and with the Jordan Henn Racing program. Racers, good luck. Let's get that championship.